0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. You are listening to The Full Circle.
Baby, take my hand, hold on tight, don't be scared, it's alright, baby. You should live inside of your moment, let go, just be yourself, baby. All eyes locked on you, are they seeing what I'm seeing, baby? Like diamonds flashing lights, your aura is so bright when I'm near you, baby. I don't wanna stop your shine, 'cause I love it when you shine. Yeah, I just hope they know you're mine when they see you shine, like the sun in the sky and the moon at night. I don't want you to hide it. Go ahead and let the world see you glow, baby. I wanna see you glow, baby. Yeah. Burn it up once you ignite it. Don't contain yourself, just explode. I wanna see you glow, baby. I wanna see you glow, baby. All eyes locked on you. Are you seeing what I'm seeing, baby? Like diamonds flashing lights, your aura is so bright when I'm near you, baby. I don't wanna stop your shine, 'cause I love it when you shine. I love the way you shine. And I just hope they know you're mine when they see you shine, like the sun in the sky and the moon, and may you shine for me. I love it when you shine for me. Oh baby, shine for me. Yeah, I love it when you shine for me. I love it when you shine for me. I don't wanna stop your shine, 'cause I love it when you shine. I just hope they know you're mine when they see you shine, like the sun in the sky and the moon at night.
Beautiful track, Elaine. That's Shine. Opening up the show, welcome to The Full Circle. Yes, Bertha Charuma with you for the next 2 hours. And today we're going to take a look at all things health as well as family meetings, what happens when we have our family members, and especially when you have sibling rivalry or you just have hatred within the family. That's one thing that we're going to zone into. And of course, our lines are readily open. That's 086 000 2032, or you can send us your WhatsApp voice note on 061 410 410 Why I'm throwing this forward for 2:45 or 20 to 3 rather, it is so that you can start sending in, maybe you have issues with your family. I will have Mkulu Nombamba Zulu, founder of Kwanombamba Family Spiritual and Mental Wellness Institute, and we'll be unpacking what makes family members so hateful of each other. Something to think about. But otherwise, let's take a look at what's coming up on the show. Starting off with Skin Dip with Dr. Judy Pretorius. Today we ask, what is rosacea? And Dr. Judy Pretorius, biomedical scientist and product development specialist, will help us unpack that. Coming up after that, we talk to Hloni Modise Matau, founder of Basadi Women in Music Awards and stages, pages, screens and more. The Basadi Women in Music Awards taking place this weekend, and they do have their nominees. And then the second hour, that will be 2:10. Hashtag health and wellness, the importance of proactive care for men. Dr. Paul Schultz from Morton Partners, Riverlands in Cape Town, also has recently been named the country's first recipient of prestigious Edgar Diploma, will help us to figure out why is it that men don't find it important to just check what is going on. Trust me, this conversation is going to be so mind-blowing. Now, this I didn't know. So just in case, and please don't panic, look at your belly. I'm talking to men right now. Look at your belly. What does it look like? What do you think could be going on in your stomach? Just think about it. But we'll unpack that at 2:10. And of course, a family meeting with Mukulu, that will be later on. But otherwise, when we get back, Dr. Judy Pretorius will be on the other side. I like the men I'm working with them. They're looking at their tummies. It's not meant to trigger anything terrible. But anyway, we'll talk about it when it's 2:10. We'll be back.
Chasing the Sun is a 5-part South African sport documentary series. An inspiring story of the 4-time World Rugby champions, the Springboks. The journey of winning the Rugby World Cup, a behind-the-scenes look of how the green and gold team overcame adversity, divisions, and doubt to become world champs. Be there when history shines. Tune into SABC2 on Sundays at 7:30 p.m. from 13 July to 10 August. Also available anytime, anywhere on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
You are listening to SFM Radio, this Mandela Month.
It is in your hands now.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
And welcome back. And my guest is with me in the studio, Dr. Judy Pretorius. I hope I will keep check of my logs and all my adverts, because when I have a conversation with you, I just lose track of everything because it all just makes sense. Thank you for coming through into the studio.
Thank you. Afternoon to the listeners. And yes, today you and I need to behave.
Yes, we're going to behave. We're going to try and behave.
Absolutely.
So talking about rosacea, is it rosacea? Rosacea.
You know what? Let's make it sound very fancy. Rosacea. So you can actually pronounce it as if you want to say the word rose, and then just give it a bit of a je ne sais quoi. Look and feel to it, rosacea. And it actually comes from, the fact that your skin has the typical redness expression that is associated with a nice, beautiful red-colored rose. That's where it comes from.
And yet it's a problem.
It's a problem. So it maybe sounds beautiful, but it's not that beautiful at all.
So what is it? Where does it originate from?
So rosacea is one of those skin conditions that typically happens to us adults. And it's an expression on the skin that makes the skin look red and inflamed. So it already tells you it's a chronic inflammatory skin condition. And yes, it does present more defined and profoundly on lighter skin tones and types. However, it's not a condition that discriminates. So from all the 6 different Fitzpatrick skin tones and types that we have, all of us can struggle with rosacea. It presents more in adults, typically from the ages to 30 to 50. And it's typically a red, inflamed skin. It's a stinging sensation. It's a burning sensation. It's actually also quite painful. And if you come closer to the skin, you'll see some visible blood vessels. You'll see some thickened texture of the skin. And like I indicated, very, very inflamed, painful skin that's usually triggered by either something systemically or something from the environment.
So, okay, what causes it? What triggers it?
Okay, so before we break it down, you get a few different types of rosacea. So it usually starts very moderate, but it can spread, and it can spread so badly. It starts in certain areas on the face, like on the nose and maybe the cheeks. But then if you don't control it, it can even spread right through into your eyes, and it can go up to your scalp as well. So some of the different types of rosacea that you get is typically the vascular type. So you physically see the fine blood vessels on the skin. And then you also get a pustular type of rosacea, which sometimes people confuse whether they struggle with acne or not, because it creates fine little pimples on the skin, pus-filled pimples. And then you also get a rosacea that targets the nose area, and usually men struggle with this one the most because it creates like a rhino thickening skin on the nose area, enlarged pores, very, very uneven skin texture. And lastly, but not least, the ocular rosacea that you physically get in your eye. So the bloodshot, red eyes, swollen eyelids, and so forth. And some of the triggers, and here they are. And again, it's adult problems. Too much alcohol, too much spicy food, too much exposure to either very cold temperatures or very warm temperatures, too much wind, harmful products, like topical products and ingredients in topical products that irritate the skin, like witch hazel, eucalyptus, tea tree, even sulfate type of products. And then also spicy food. So there are so many triggers that can play a role, that can aggravate it. And the sooner people treat it and control it, the better.
And is it by any chance linked to any other conditions?
Well, sometimes people confuse it because it can create a bit of a plague-like expression, and then one can misdiagnose it for either acne or eczema. But rosacea is without a doubt, if you physically go and look and you do a little bit of a biopsy on the skin, you'll find very defined what we call inflammatory markers on the skin that aggravates and irritates it. So it can be misdiagnosed for either eczema, atopic dermatitis, or even acne.
So as I was just reading through some of the literature, it says that it could be also lack of vitamin B. The different vitamin Bs. You've got vitamin B12, B6, B3.
Absolutely. You should never be surprised that your lifestyle plays a huge role in the health of your skin. You and I, we spoke the previous time, we said that the human skin is nothing other than a diagnostic organ as well. So whatever we take in from a systemic point of view is probably going to express on our skin, or even the lack of what we do not take in is going to express on our skin. And if there's a lack of certain vitamins and minerals, the chances are likely it's going to show on our skin. So vitamin B, the whole vitamin B complex will play a huge role. One of my favorite vitamins, of course, when it comes to skin is vitamin D. With a population of close to 60 million people, you won't believe me, over 9 million people in South Africa struggle with vitamin D deficiency, and we think we are in the sun, we are outdoors, but we really struggle with vitamin D deficiency. And if we supplement with a proper vitamin D intake, vitamin B, vitamin D, and even some zincs, some of these type of ingredients, it's going to make a remarkable difference on our skin.
So, for instance, because I know there is one particular tablet that you take once a week. I think it's a vitamin D. Yes, a vitamin D.
It is vitamin D.
You just take it once a week. Is that sufficient?
It is sufficient, because if you and I typically go buy some vitamin D supplements right now, you'll get anything from 500 to 1,000 IUs. You'll see on the label it will say 500 to 1,000 IUs, international units of vitamin D that you can buy over the counter, which basically means you have to drink it every single day, and maybe even 2 tablets or 2 capsules per day. But if a doctor scripts you with a real proper vitamin D, either a D2 or a D3, a plant-based or an animal-based type of vitamin D, then it's 50,000 IUs. That's a lot of vitamin D, and you only need to take that once a week. preferably, after a meal, and you'll see remarkable difference, not only just with your general health, because it boosts your immunity, but with your skin health, and even the speed of how you heal when you have wounds will be, will reach to an optimal state, because it increases your health like you won't believe.
So, are there any specific foods that you can take to alleviate this problem?
Well, let me tell you, let's start with what you're not allowed to. Now, I know we are going to get in trouble if we say the following, but as we get older, obviously our metabolic activity decreases. And, we don't run as fast as we did in our 20s and our 30s. And we can see, we need a little bit more effort to perform, if you will. And our bodies as well. And some of the ingredients and substances that our bodies really struggle with and that creates systemic inflammation is sugar. Because there's a process of what we call glycation, and it actually is inflammation caused because of sugar intake. And sugar is so bad, it literally disrupts the cell walls of our skin cells, but not only our skin cells, even our other organs as well. It attacks proteins, and once it attacks these type of healthy lipid type of proteins, our bodies come under stress and trauma. And that's why we like to tell people, if you can, stay away from sugary foods.
Who introduced sugar? Who came up with sugar in the first place?
Yeah, we need to go and attack that person quickly, because they made us addicted, and I also have a sweet tooth, but I know it's really bad.
I know.
It's really, really bad. And again, the other thing, smoking. If I can ask people to have some form of a daily resolution or a monthly resolution, not only a New Year's resolution, is try your very best to stop smoking, because smoking and rosacea, and a combination with even sugar, like an energy drink, for instance, can really aggravate it and make it so much worse.
Okay, and I also saw that when we begin, I think you said it at the beginning, alcohol.
Yes.
But what happens to my Friday glass of wine?
You know what? Even your after work glass of wine. Us South Africans, we are very popular when it comes to some good wine. I would say you are forgiven if you have that, let's call it our antioxidant drink for the evening. That's okay, but it's usually the abuse that causes a little bit of a problem, that stimulates and ultimately becomes an irritant to the skin, or a very bad stimulant to the skin. And let's rather avoid those type of things.
So let's say, for instance, you've realized this is what's happening. You've got rosacea. How chronic can it get?
It can really get very bad. Early on I gave you the 4 different types. The types where you physically see the blood vessels in somebody's skin, and followed by, some pustular breakouts. It looks like you have acne. It's something that's filled with pus. And then the second thing is the thickening of the skin. So it spreads to the skin over the nose area, and there's uneven skin texture. It's enlarged skin texture. It's enlarged pores. And eventually that spreads right up until somebody's eyes. Now, can you imagine if your eyes now become bloodshot and irritated, and there's even swelling of the eyelids? So it really can get to a very bad state. Even rosacea of the scalp, where that type of inflammation moves right up into the scalp, and now the next thing that starts to happen is hair thinning and hair loss. So it can really get out of hand. So if you don't remove the type of stressors and triggers, either from an oral point of view and even what you apply directly onto your skin, it can really worsen things.
Okay, so it starts between the ages of from 30 onwards?
30 to 50.
So in your 20s, you're safe?
In your 20s, you're safe, and I can denote that back to metabolic activity. We're usually quite healthy, and if there's something wrong with us, whether we are sick, we bounce back quite quickly. We heal quickly. We don't really have delayed wound healings. It's when we get older, it's our ways of, handling inflammation. Our battle to combat inflammation becomes much more intricate and difficult to resolve. And, also where we live play a role. We live here in Gauteng, and pollution is also one of the triggers that causes inflammation of the skin and can cause rosacea. Even the water that we wash our skin with can become an irritant, if it's not pure enough. So we need to really work on what I like to call the rule of elimination, and really make sure that all those triggers, those irritants, those stimulants, we remove it completely so we don't expose our skin to unnecessarily inflammation.
Lines are opened, and our WhatsApp line is also opened. We're going to extend the conversation to after 1:30, so you can send us your voice notes on 061 410 4107. Maybe you want to ask a question. Maybe you've identified something that sounds like something we're talking about, or you had it and you managed to sort it out somehow. It'll be, let's share. That's 061 410 4107. We're talking about rosacea. I would like to also find out, we have to find solutions for this, right? And a portion, I think, of the other part of the show, just after the headlines, we can also really delve deeper into solutions. If you could just give us one pointer as to alleviate the problem. Because I know that we're often told, wear sunscreen. I've never been a sunscreen person, and I'm sure people that are dark-skinned are not really that big on sunscreen.
Well, I'm going to give a few remedies, actually. So there are so many things that you can do to manage rosacea. The first thing would be, yes, and I'm going to get mad at you, Bertha.
I know.
Sunscreen is important, but the most important one would be a mineral-based sunscreen. That you be on the lookout for a sunscreen that typically contains zinc. And remember, zinc is also one of those ingredients that you find in like a diaper rash cream, like a baby bum cream. And why do we do that? Because sometimes when babies have a diaper rash, we like to put a nappy cream on their skin that's very, very rich in zinc. And you said it, vitamin B, like B5 and B3, and apply that onto their skin, and it just calms down completely, So like a mineral-based sunscreen will help a lot. Then we have a look at other things that you can do. And another interesting fact is during COVID, do you remember when people during 2020 COVID time, they all of a sudden started drinking the tablet with an active ingredient called ivermectin? Now, ivermectin is one of the ingredients that you don't just have to take in orally, but there's even an ointment. And during COVID, people who struggled with rosacea, when they drank ivermectin, or they even used certain ivermectin ointments, it controlled and helped alleviate the symptoms of rosacea. So that helps a lot. Of course, there's some topical steroids, antibiotics, and so forth that you can also use. And then a treatment that I like to use, and it works, is laser treatments.
Hold the thought. We're going to go to headlines. When we come back, we continue with the conversation. Ondela's on standby. Thank you, Bertha. On the news headlines, Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister Gwede Mandashe says South Africa should not be bullied into trading its critical minerals based on unfavorable terms and conditions. Police say the alleged mastermind behind the murder of Opa John Sefuga, popularly known as DJ Somebody, Kadiso Katie Molife, has been positively linked to the murder of Hector DJ Ventus Mutelezi, and Thailand's army has accused Cambodia of violating a ceasefire agreed to yesterday after 5 days of border clashes. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
SAFM is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
And I'm speaking to my guest, Dr. Judy Pretorius, biomedical scientist and product development specialist, and we are discussing rosacea. I know, let's go to your voice notes, and then I'll let our good doc respond to your questions.
Good afternoon, Margot Tanyan speaking from Limpopo. I just want to ask your guest, when she talks about sugar, is she referring to the sugar as we know, or anything sweet, including honey, because I'm currently taking honey. So I left out sugar. I want to get from her. Or by sugar, is he referring to anything sweet, including honey or what? Thank you.
Okay.
Well, if we give a few tips of how to eliminate sugar from your daily diet, we try to say replace it with something other than the normal sugar that you and I know. So yes, honey is sweet and it's a very natural replacement. At least honey is also a very powerful antioxidant, but it can also, create a bit of what we call of a glycation process, unfortunately. So I am a bearer of bad news. It creates a bit of a glycation process, but it's not as bad as normal sugar. So if this gentleman replaced his sugar with honey, actually kudos to him. That's very well done.
And just before we took a break, I actually interjected and you were actually putting very good pointers out there.
I was giving good pointers on what to do if you struggle. The first thing, you can obviously go to a doctor, a dermatologist that can script you certain ingredients like ivermectin, even certain antibiotics like tetracycline and so forth. But one of the more like aesthetic treatments that you can do, and it really does work, and the reason why it works is laser. Because the bloodshot vessels that one can physically see on somebody's skin who struggles with rosacea, we know what the wavelength is of that hemoglobin blood that rushes and flushes to the skin. And you can actually set a laser machine settings to the exact nanometers of the hemoglobin and treat that skin and ultimately irritate those vessels, blood vessels, to such an extent that the skin just calms down. So laser really, really does work. And these days, you get some powerful laser machines that really work on all different skin tones and types. So it's not really harmful. But then again, from a topical point of view, I always like to tell people, remember that rule is that the human skin is known as an acid mantle, and it likes to be exposed to ingredients that's more acidic, not neutral, and also not alkaline. So find more acidic type of products. So when you purchase products, look on the label that it states it's pH balanced, and then also avoid products that contains fragrances, dyes, and sometimes, like I've mentioned earlier, and even some of these botanical extracts can sometimes be a big cause of irritation to the skin, like the witch hazels, the eucalyptus, tea trees, etc., can cause a lot of irritation on the skin. And there's one ingredient that our listeners should definitely avoid, and it's usually found in shampoos, actually, and certain cleansers, foaming agents, and it's called sulfates. So sulfates, sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium laureth sulfate or anything sulfate, try to avoid these ingredients when you struggle with rosacea, because it can irritate the skin more and it can aggravate it so much more.
Okay, so what about in the instance, there's this new buzz. We're all now using castor oil. We're using so many things. Does it, if you're experiencing rosacea, can you use castor oil?
Yes, absolutely. But let me give you a formulation trick now today.
Okay.
So if you were to come and work with me in the lab, then you and I would go and nitpick some active ingredients. And what do I mean by active ingredients? It's ingredients that when I apply it on your skin, it's going to stimulate a response, like a therapeutic response, for instance. So on anti-aging terms, if I expose your skin to retinol or vitamin A, it's going to have anti-aging impact. The fine lines and wrinkles are going to become less, and the texture of the skin is going to improve, and so forth. So if we look at active ingredients for rosacea, for instance, I would like to focus on ceramides and peptides and growth factors and vitamin E, these type of things. But now we only have the active ingredients. We now need to go build a formula with a delivery system. In other words, what vehicle are we going to make use of to go and deliver these ingredients to our skin to stimulate that calming response. And usually the delivery ingredients are like the castor oils, the glycerines, the shea butters, even the coconut oils, etc. So it's not only just one ingredient that's going to make a huge difference. It's a combination of ingredients, emollients and humectants that's ultimately really going to make a treatment modality for the skin to calm all the inflammatory markers on the outer layer.
I think let's take a voice note once again, and then you can respond.
Hi, this is Neville from East London. I was diagnosed with rosacea 2 years ago when I was living in Thailand, for the reasons that you mentioned: spicy food, the heat, the humidity, alcohol. I've been using different things to try and manage it. I'm now using Benzac, which I think has peroxide in, which has certainly helped, but I still get these outbreaks. Like now I'm dealing with an outbreak where I just get not so much the redness, but just these pimples, these pustules. Any advice? Thank you.
That's Neville. I think I'll let you respond just after the commercial break.
Have you recently migrated to the new TV licenses payment website? Make sure your account stays active by registering again or resetting your password. Don't miss out on all the fantastic new features our brand new website offers. Get registered today and stay connected with us. With the new website, get your payments done quickly and hassle-free with a wide range of services. So make sure you register to take advantage of all the great client features. Visit www.tvlic.co.za today. TV licenses. Do it for the things that matter.
Conversations that you connect with and react to. SAFM.
And coming back to Dr. Judy Pretorius, and we're talking about rosacea. We just had a voice note just before we took a commercial break.
Yes, so it can be, and the active ingredient that Neville was referring to is also sometimes used to terminate the type of bacteria that's also associated with rosacea. But that ingredient can also, over a certain period of time, cause irritation to the skin. So it's really, you should kind of decrease it to moderate use. But if I can, advise Neville a little bit, he was referring to more the pustular type of rosacea, the pusful, the acne type of appearance rosacea. There's some other ingredients that Neville can, go and try. And typically one of those ingredients is known as azelaic acid. And some of the azelaic type of products that we have, you don't need a script for it. You can go to the pharmacy and a pharmacist can actually give it to you over the counter. So azelaic acid will help. But another ingredient that really works wonders to control the sebum, in other words, the oiliness on the skin, is salicylic acid. So if Neville can find some like a facial cleanser that contains about 2% of salicylic acid that he can cleanse his skin with in the morning and in the evening to control the sebum, followed by the application of azelaic acid, Neville, I will give it about a week and you'll see a nice breakthrough.
I've got Rich, line 2. Rich, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Bertha. I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Step out of the car.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Oh, yes, yeah. Man, I've just come from the doctor. I discovered that I had a skin problem that I was not aware of. Previously, 2 years ago, I had this thing, sort of a blister or boil on my thigh. It first appeared as a boil and then it didn't go away. I went to a doctor. The doctor said probably a spider bite. And then now, it came 2 years later. The doctor that I attended to now says it's toxins. It's a skin problem, toxins. And when I ask him why, he says free radicals. It presents as some form of you would think it's a spider bite, and then the area around it hardens, the tissue hardens, and it forms a ring of sorts. How can I sort this out?
Doc?
Well, the first thing, again, from a product point of view, I'm going to explain You remember when we were in school, our teacher taught us about osmosis, and the definition of osmosis is when something moves from a higher concentration through a permeable membrane to a lower concentration. So if someone struggles with something like this, for instance, whether it was a spider bite or whether it's a boil or whether it's a wart-like expression on the skin that's filled with pus or some form of a liquid fluid-like ingredient that maybe is also inflamed. I refer to it as skin and soft tissue type of infection because it feels like that area on the skin has its own heartbeat. It's quite a warm and, sensitive area. So usually what we do then is we take a particular product with what we call an osmotic pool, just what I explained, and we apply it on that area, and we apply quite an ambitious amount of this particular product with an osmotic pool, and we close it with paraffin gauze, and then on top of that even a normal wound care dressing, and we leave it closed for 3 days. And then usually after 3 days, you would start to see that the product actually itself start pulling. In other words, that exudate or transudate or liquid-like pus gets pulled from that wart-like expression on the skin back into the secondary wound dressing up until such a point where we even maybe have to repeat the protocol like that, where we can facilitate overall healing. But it sounds to me like a bit of a skin and soft tissue infection. And again, if you struggle with things like this, don't underestimate the help of vitamin D intake, because vitamin D, and especially a higher concentration of vitamin D, these things heal quicker, heal faster, and it also prevents it from happening in the future as well.
I hope you answered. Yeah, you hear.
Yes, the difficult part is that it was on the thigh, right thigh, on the outside the first time. And then now it's just under the butt. It's not, and also it doesn't have pus or have liquid. It just forms a thickening around it. It is very hard.
So it basically looks slightly bigger than a pimple, and it's quite sensitive. And now you're also explaining that it spreads a little bit. And
yes, it's bigger than 5 Rand coin.
Yeah. And something like this can also be known as a bit of we call it a supranativa. And the supranativa type of expression again is bacterial, so it would be good if one can evaluate and analyze it a little bit more, even do a biopsy to see whether it's bacterial, and one puts you on a course of antibiotics. But as an advice to you, early on I talked a lot about an ingredient called salicylic acid, and if in this event it is supranativa, I don't have it under my eyes, I haven't seen the pictures. But if it's supranativa, you can embark on like a body wash and go purchase a body wash, again, that says pH balance, and look for an ingredient in that body wash that says salicylic acid. And then even apply a little bit of that body wash directly to that particular pimple-like expression, and leave it on there. Keep it close up until such point where we can reduce the sebum, the oiliness, everything that's like captured in that colony of cells that's causing this irritation and a pus-full expression. Try to apply the product on there so we can separate and break down the colonies of cells that's starting to spread like this.
Thank you. Keep it close for how long?
You can keep it closed for about 2 to 3 days.
Thank you.
Answered? And of course, we'll be giving the details for later on in case, maybe you want to investigate this a little bit further.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'm looking at the time. We're running out of time. Well, let me just go to Joseph from Eshowe. He says, I have this itchy skin which just starts randomly, and especially after taking a bath. Would that be what the doctor is talking about?
Yes, itchy skin, sometimes we also like to refer to pruritus. There can be two things. Itchy skin can be because your skin is just dry, So my advice is definitely try to, after bathing or showering, apply a body lotion. We spoke about men and what happens under their bellies.
Yes.
I want to talk about what happens with men and their skin. They must also apply a body lotion after bathing or showering every day, because that can help with itchy skin. But then again, I come back. What else can cause something to irritate the skin and even make it itchy? Is that ingredient sulfates? So when you purchase products, guys, be on the lookout. Especially cleansers that foam a lot will definitely contain ingredients like sulfates. And if you expose your skin to sulfates and it causes an irritation on your skin, the next thing that's going to happen is going to get red, inflamed and itchy.
Dr. Judy, it's always a pleasure talking to you. We can go on, but we have to end it at this point. And for more information?
For more information and also some of the products that we spoke of earlier can be found on our website, biomedicalemporium.com.
Thank you so much. That's Dr. Judy, Pretoria's biomedical scientist and product development specialist, chatting to us in the studio. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll be talking to Hloni Modise Matau, founder of Basadi Women in Music Awards.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply. Hear the rhythm, feel the heat at the Imbaula Music Festival in partnership with SAFM, where music, culture, and community come alive. Join us on the 2nd of August 2025 at Pretoria Botanical Gardens from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to vibe to Sanal musician Calvin Momo, Amanda Black, Zing Lumalo, Trompis, and many more. More than just music. Share stories, spark change, and unite against gender-based violence. Grab your tickets at imbaula.co.za. Brought to you by SAFM and SABC1. Hear the rhythm, feel the heat. Imbaula.
I'm telling you, this 100 million is waiting for me. So get ready, Mzansi. Powerball has rolled over to a massive 100 million guaranteed jackpot this Tuesday. You heard right. 100 million. Play your Powerball for a guaranteed 100 million jackpot today, and you could hit it lucky. Buy your tickets now in store, on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
And I have to welcome my guest talking about stages, pages, screens and more. The Basadi Women in Music Awards taking place this weekend. Hloni Modise Matau, founder of Basadi Women in Music Awards, is on the line. So this Friday and Saturday, the 1st and the 2nd of August, the Basadi Women in Music Awards take place at the Joburg Theatre, celebrating women as they launch Women's Month, or as we launch Women's Month 2025. Hloni, good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Bertha. I'm listening to you talk about that 100 million. I'm thinking it's my turn now. It's my turn.
Let's not contest over this. It's mine. It's mine.
I'm like, it's my turn. It's my turn.
It's
Universe,
mine.
I hear you. Dear God, I thank you. I'm officially a millionaire. Thank you, Jesus.
I know. You've sent it as well. You've sent your message to the universe.
I have.
So, Hloni, let's talk about Basadi Women's Music Awards that are taking place. A great way to kick off August. Your theme this year is Symphony of Harmony. Why?
So, I mean, we're turning 4, right? And we're thinking, okay, 4 elements of nature to represent turning 4. And we're like, no, but we need to hook it up with music, so that it makes sense. And then as we're sitting around the table and then someone says Symphony of Harmony. And we're like, that's it. That's the one.
And what inspired you to initiate the awards, highlighting not only, the women on stage, but all the aspects of the sector?
So I've always wanted to have an award ceremony, and it just so happened that I was blessed with a group of young females around me who I considered friends, who I can just call and say, hey, you do graphic designing, you do PR, you do social media. Let's put this thing together and let's put it in motion.
I think
Many heads,
oh,
and
there
I
you
know
go.
just
Shani, I just lost you there for a second.
all valued. So I think having worked that I have, I then decided that it's only fair that we recognize both the people in front of the mic and the ones that make up the ones in front of the mic.
Let's, if you could maybe take us through the categories for the 2 evenings.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, I was talking about the 2 categories for the evening. Maybe if you could just break them down.
So there's the Vanguard Awards, where we've got artist managers of the hair journalists of the year. So those are the type of categories that are on the Vanguard Awards, which is the first night. And then the second night, we've got the music categories, where it's like a vast of voted for categories: hip hop artist of the year, artist of the year, song of the year, songwriter of the year, Amapiano of the year, gospel of the year, etc.
And how do people, get to vote for their favorite nominees?
Yeah, so how we structured it is structured in such a way that it involves people from the initial stage. So we'll start by opening up nominations, and then once we get nominations after the vetting process, then we get to the top 5 and we throw it back to the people, and then the people vote, and then this is what we'll find out during this weekend in terms of who have won.
And what's the next for Basadi Women in Music Awards, and what has this journey been for you? 4 years, it clearly shows that it's successful.
I think it depends on how we measure success. I suppose success is different to different people. I would say 4 years, but I did put a goal to myself that it will be a successful, profitable brand to keep itself going in year 6. So I'm still in year 4. So we are still pretty much in a building phase. From what I want, the other goal that I had was that 5 years from inception of Basadi, I would like to see South African artists competing against international artists. And that's why we didn't limit it to just South Africans, because we wanted to open that pathway, and hence the voting mechanisms is a link which anybody from any part of the world can be able to participate as we open up this gearing to that. That's the next step.
Maybe if you could just help me with the process right from the beginning. How do you identify, for instance, if we look at the categories, so I'm just going to repeat the categories again. So you've got Artist Manager of the Year, you've got Entertainment Radio Presenter of the Year, you've got Makeup Artist of the Year, Hairstylist of the Year. Let me see, what else have we got here? Podcast Presenter of the Year, then Music Awards 2, that's the second night, Afropop Artist of the Year, Amapiano Artist of the Year, Artist of the Year, well, I suppose that is like the ultimate. Collaboration, Dance Artist, DJ of the Year. So, and you've broken it down into 2 parts.
We've broken it down into two evenings, although we've broken it into 2 evenings when the voting process happens simultaneously. And then what we've done, so how the process works is we start by calling the nominations, and we open it up, and people, nominate. You'll be surprised how many people nominate people. And from there, we go to, the vetting process to see if, for example, the people who were working during that period, was the music released at that period. And then we get to the top 5, and when we get to the top 5, that's where we throw it back to the people, and the people then vote again in terms of who's going to be number 1.
And the first night, for instance, the Vanguard Awards transforms. Basically, the theatre is going to be very intimate. It's an intimate gathering, honoring the brilliant minds working behind the magic.
Correct.
Maybe give us a little bit of insight without really giving away everything, because then it doesn't entice people to come to the
I hear
awards.
what you mean. I think so because it's our first time that we are doing the Vanguard Awards, we said, okay, we'll start it on night 1, and we'll invite people and see what the turnout looks like. Ideally, we would like it to get to a space where it's really big, because the ladies there deserve to be on that platform as well. but it's a building situation. So night 1 is going to be very intimate, and night 2 is the one where, you know, people can buy lots of tickets and come with their families and so on and so on. The theme, like we said, is the four elements of nature, and those 4 elements will be celebrated on both nights. So people can be creative in terms of their outfits. I'm looking forward to my dresses. It has been such a creative and fun experience to see both my dresses. I essentially chose one element per night. So there's people saying, oh, I want to wear water and I want to wear fire the next day. So it's actually very nice to see.
And in terms of pricing, maybe, I don't know, do you give pricing, or this is just to honor those that have been great in their, you know, respected industries?
Eventually, we would like to get to a point where we are able to give more than just the trophy. When we give the trophy and the financial part of it, we are still building, so we are not yet there. So right now, it's more of an honor, where you get your trophy and your recognition. And then I think in the next year or 2, we'll be able to put prizes. That is one of the goals as well, to be able to do that.
And let's talk about how to get your, for the tickets. Where do you go? And also, can you buy the tickets on site? But
Yes.
preferably, I'm
Yes.
sure you would want people to buy tickets in advance.
Online. Yeah, so the tickets are available at web tickets, and when you click on the two, you have 2 nights, which the first night would be the Vanguard, which is 500 rand per night per ticket, and then the next the music night would be 850 per ticket. Both of them include a pre-drink and a meal and access to just music and relaxation after the show. So please, let's roll out in numbers and come and support these queens. They deserve all the love and support they can get from us.
Maybe let's spill a little bit of tea, entertainment in between. Any artists that maybe we can kind of like talk about?
Yeah, so I mean, I think we've got Zingumalo, we've got Ntokozo Mbambo, we've got Mapula Munyapao, we've got Zamajobe, we've got Monewa, we've got DJ Lamiz. You know, it's really a dish of entertainment for both nights. Yeah, so we're gonna have fun. And we're looking forward to the performances. I mean, we always try to strive for good production, you know, as per the ladies do deserve. So we are trying. I'm at the theater right now, Joburg Theater, and they're busy, you know, doing their things and their things to make sure that the stage is coming together for this Basadi in Music Awards weekend takeover.
That's Hloni Modise Matao, founder of Basadi Women in Music Awards. And the awards are coming. Let's just take a look at the dates again. It is the 1st and the 2nd of August.
Yes.
And the tickets, once again, where do we get the tickets? Just as a repetition?
You get the tickets at Web Tickets, and 500 for night 1 and 850 for night 2.
Thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you so much for having me, Bertha.
And bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Still to come on the show, on the other side of the hour. So I said, look at your tummy. I think this applies to men and women. Well, if you're pregnant, look, that's a different story altogether. But if you just have a cooler box that looks like a I don't know, we all aspire for a six-pack, but somehow you find that you've got a big stomach. I know for a fact, now this is from past experience, when women have fibroids, they look like they're pregnant. And that could be the rationale behind the big tummy. So, you know, that could be something you'd like to ask when I speak to Dr. Paul Schultz. But for men, because we are zoning onto men, the importance of proactive care for men, if you have a big cooler box that you've been carrying for a long time, maybe we can talk about this. And maybe we may just come up with a solution when we get to that conversation. So in the world of modern medicine, imagining technology playing a critical role in diagnosing and managing diseases. I'm just saying we could have a solution. But for now, let's cross over to the news desk. It's just gone after 2 and Ondela's on standby.
Thank you, Bertha. On the top stories, Mandashe slams critics over BRICS partnership and more murders linked to KT Molefe. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good day. Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister Gwede Mandashe says South Africa should not be bullied into trading its critical minerals based on unfavorable terms and conditions. He says South Africa should not be apologetic for being a BRICS partner because it destabilizes the balance of forces and global leadership. He was delivering a keynote address at the G20 Critical Mineral Engagement in Sandton, north of Johannesburg. Mandashe stressed that if being a BRICS member attracts tariffs from the US, then South Africa should diversify its market.
The most important thing for us as developing economies is that we should not be bullied for what we own. We must have a view, and our view must be respected, that we mine these critical minerals. People need them. They must talk to us. We must not give them critical minerals in their own terms, and our views are ignored. I'm talking for the industry. You get 30% tariff imposed on you. Please send those critical minerals somewhere else where there are no tariffs, where you get optimal value.
Police say the alleged mastermind behind the murder of Opa John Sefuga, popularly known as DJ Somebody, Kadiso Katie Molife, has been positively linked to the murder of Hector DJ Ventos Buthelezi. Buthelezi was gunned down outside a nightclub in Orlando East, Soweto in 2022. Today, Molefe and his three co-accused appeared in the Alexandra Magistrates Court north of Johannesburg for DJ Somebody's murder. The accused are facing charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, as well as possession of unlicensed firearms and ammunition. National Police spokesperson Athlenda Mate.
On the DJ Ventos case, we've got all four accused, which includes the alleged mastermind, Katiso Molefe. And then on the Don Tindleni case, we have only so far linked the three hitmen. Katiso Molefe is not linked as of yet to that particular case. So DJ Ventos is 4 accused and Don Tindleni is 3 accused.
The National Prosecuting Authority says it's confident of a successful prosecution in the Tiffany Meek murder case. The 31-year-old woman is accused of the murder of her 11-year-old son, J.D. Lee. She was denied bail in the Roodepoort Magistrate Court today. Meek faces charges of murder, criminal injury and defeating the ends of justice. She has been remanded back in custody until her next court appearance on the 17th of September. NPA Gauteng spokesperson Pindim Jonondwane.
The case will be back in court on the 17th of September 2025. We've requested the postponement as the state to conclude the investigation. So we are hoping that much of the outstanding statements that the IO talked about during the bail application stage would have been collected so that we can then move forward, and we will also be awaiting the decision of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution about the forum where the trial will be held.
KwaZulu-Natal police have commended the work of the Political Killings Task Team after arresting a former Umzimkhulu municipal manager. 55-year-old Zweli Panzi Skosana was arrested in connection with the murder of former ANC Youth League Secretary General Sindiso Magaqa in 2017. Skosana was arrested in Durban and has appeared in the Umzimkhulu Magistrates Court today. Police spokesperson Robert Nechuunda says they cannot rule out the possibility of more arrests.
The investigations will determine that, and what happens in court will also determine that. But what we have for now, we believe that we are mostly towards the end, believing that the mastermind could be the mastermind, or somebody who could have ordered the hit could be the one we have in custody. Hence the charge of conspiracy to commit murder and the charge of murder. We cannot rule out any possibility of more arrests, because when we made this arrest, we were expected to investigate further, and those investigations might lead us in that direction.
Thailand's army has accused Cambodia of violating a ceasefire agreed to yesterday after 5 days of border clashes. It says that there have been several clashes after Cambodia troops fired at Thai positions. The situation is now reported to be calm. The BBC's Jonathan Head reports.
The ceasefire got off to a shaky start. Right up to the midnight deadline, there were intense exchanges of fire between the two armies, with Thailand launching more airstrikes on Cambodian positions. The Thai military says it stopped firing after midnight, but that it continued to receive gunfire from the Cambodian side up until this morning. As a result, meetings between local commanders, which were part of the ceasefire deal, were postponed twice. These have now taken place, with agreements to stop the shooting and movements of troops on the front line, and for each side to be able to collect their dead.
Recapping the top story, Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe says South Africa should not be bullied into trading its critical minerals based on unfavourable terms and conditions. I'm on Dilambana for SFM News Headlines at 2:30.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday the 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. This Mandela Month, Nelson Mandela once said,
We have traveled a long journey. We have fought for peace and reconciliation, for social justice, for all men, women, and children.
SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
SABC Sport brings you Chasing the Sun, a powerful 5-part documentary series about the Springboks, telling the rousing tale of their path to redemption and ultimate World Cup glory in 2019. Started 13th of July at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Tune in every Sunday for the highs, the heartache, the heroics that made rugby history. Stream each chapter on SABC Plus anytime, anyway. No subscription needed. Don't miss Chasing the Sun this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Be there when history shines.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
Oh, may his soul rest in peace. I'm sure it is. Lucky Dube. The way it is. Just to recap, it is the full circle. Beginning of the show, we had Dr. Judy Pretorius, biomedical scientist and product development specialist, talking to us. And today we're talking about skin deep and zoning into what is known as rosacea. And then, of course, stages, pages, screens, and more. The Basadi Women in Music Awards taking place this weekend. And we spoke to Hloni Modise Matao, founder of Basadi Women in Music. And now coming up next, health and wellness, the importance of proactive care for men. And we're going to be talking to Dr. Paul Schultz from Morton and Partners. Riverlands also has recently been named the country's first recipient of the prestigious Edgar Diploma. But at 22, that's 20-3, we're going to be talking to Mkulu Nombamba Zulu, founder of Kwa Nombamba Family Spiritual and Mental Wellness Institute. And the big question, where you can send in your voice notes in the meantime, or also just get ready to engage when we get to that point. How is your relationship with your siblings? I think I may be a bit fortunate. I have siblings, but when you see us fight, oh boy, you'll think that there's no grass that's going to grow in that particular space. But we have a way of coming back and, saying sorry and rebuild the relationship, and we get along. So like we can fight 10 minutes. Give us another 1 hour. We're sitting and having our wine and cheese and it's all hunky-dory. What is your relationship like? Because there are some families, when they have a fight, it is for life. They don't talk to each other for years. There's just this tension that you can cut with a bread knife and you just don't grasp. So that's going to be our conversation, our family meeting, your relationship with your siblings. And if it is that one of those where you have not spoken to each other for years, what have been the reasons? What have they done that is so terrible that you feel, actually, as a matter of fact, thanks, but no thanks. I will do without you. So that will be around 20-3. But for now, we're going to be talking to our good doc and talking about men, the importance of proactive care for men. So to just give you a little bit of insight, today we're speaking to Dr. Schultz, of course. He's leading radiologist who is part of a growing movement to make medical imaging more transparent, more accessible, empowering for patients, from detecting abdominal cancers early to managing complex liver diseases. And Dr. Schultz actually believes that patients deserve to understand their imaging results and not just receive them. Because normally, have you noticed, you go for your when they say, go for your radiology, or they have to take screens, you're just given this information and then they say no. Then take it to your GP or your doctor, whoever has been treating you. Then you have to understand from that particular doctor. But you as an individual, you don't even know what this screen looks like, what it means. But of course, talking to our good doc, having to unpack the importance of proactive care for men, sometimes when you discover what is wrong with you in time, you can harness whatever it is that could end up being so detrimental. That is if you are well informed when we get back.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 1 kg Kellogg's Cornflakes for $69.99 plus 150 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Or 1 kg Stork Country Spread Tub for $44.99 plus 100 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million rand in instant cash. Prices valid until 6 August 2025 while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
The Health Professions Council of South Africa, HPCSA,
has extended its call for nominations of suitable persons to serve on the HPCSA professional boards. All practitioners actively registered with the HPCSA may be nominated. Deadline for submissions is 31 July 2025. For more details, visit the HPCSA website, hpcsa.co.za.
Get ready, Mzansi. Powerball has rolled over to a massive 100 million rand guaranteed jackpot this Tuesday. You heard right. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 100 million rand jackpot today, and you could hit it lucky. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusha Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
The importance of proactive care for men. And joining us, Dr. Paul Schultz from Morton and Partners Riverlands, recently named the first recipient of the prestigious Edgar Diploma. Dr. Schultz, good to have you on the show.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
I made a little bit of, not a gesture per se, but like a little comment to say to all the men out there, please take a look at your big tummy. Do you know exactly what is going on? And everybody was laughing. And I work with a lot of men and they were just chuckling away. But I think this is a very serious issue that we need to address, especially having to understand what happens is when you go to your doctor and you're struggling with your abdominal imaging or your abdominal issues, just getting the basics. So how abdominal imaging can detect early signs of colorectal, pancreatic cancers. Now I'm getting a little bit more serious and I'm thinking, they must be thinking Bertha has just gone off here now.
Well, that's a very good question to ask. I think it's very important. Firstly, I think that there's a large stigma regarding men's health, and men don't seem to seek help when they feel something's wrong. So it's very important to know your body and to have a good relationship with your healthcare practitioner, and once you think that something's wrong, so if you have change of bowel habits, or if you have blood in your stool, or you're having loss of weight, that all are signs of potentially that you've got something going on in your gut, particularly your large bowel. And then it would be important to go see your doctor so that he or she can then decide as to what the best way to find out what the underlying problem is.
And what are the benefits of men looking direct, booking direct consultations with a radiologist, and how this is now possible in South Africa?
So it's always advisable to seek medical care first before you book with a radiology practice, just because you don't want to do unnecessary tests on your actual body. So if your practitioner knows that there's abnormal blood tests, or most importantly, that there's abnormal examination, or family history of, let's say, colon cancer or liver cancer or prostate cancer, then your doctor can then tailor the tests that you need, or the imaging tests or other tests to find out what is wrong and what the best screening tests are.
And what are some of the biggest barriers you've observed that prevent men from seeking proactive medical attention, though?
I think that it's just men. A lot of men don't seek help just because they embarrassed with, let's say, change of bowel habits. Also, now other things with regards to sort of liver health. People don't want to be told that they've got liver issues, because that also has got very bad connotations. So people don't want to seek care. Liver diseases are becoming very, very prevalent worldwide now. Especially fatty liver disease. About 1/3 of the global population has got a fatty liver disease, and a significant portion of those people go on to develop a long-standing liver injury from that. So all these factors just basically make men be a little bit skeptical about going to go seek healthcare.
And then let's talk about the screenings, which are very, very important, and imaging. How does it offer clarity? Is it the best way to try and figure out what could be going on with you?
So it's a stepwise approach, the screening. So if you look at major cancers, the highest incidence cancer amongst men would be prostate cancer. And how that would then work is that you'd go see your doctor. You tell them if you have a family history of prostate cancer, so if your brother has prostate cancer or your father, and then they would then do a PSA test, which is a test which looks for a level, which if it's high could indicate, it doesn't say, but it could indicate that you potentially have got a prostate issue. And then your doctor will then do an examination. And then from there, they'll then decide as to what to do. The very high tech currently is that we can do MRIs of people's prostates, and the MRI, which is being put into a big magnet, we can basically see if they are clinically significant cancers, and then the doctor can then take it from there. But I mean clinically significant, I'm talking about the cancer that is potentially going to kill you before your end of your natural life.
So I just want to touch on prostate cancer just for a second. What are the benefits of using multi-parametric, the MRI, for prostate cancer detection and staging?
That's a very good. So that's a very good question. So with the multi-parametric, we use various different techniques on the MRI scan to see if there is a cancer. So to use 3 different metrics, that's why it's parametric, which is your normal baseline imaging. It's a fusion-weighted imaging, but that's more of a complex technique. And then they give you dye, which then highlights areas. And using those 3 techniques, you can then work out as to which areas are point to significant cancer. I'm not sure if that answers your question as to the multi-parametric use in the detection of prostate cancer. So that's used not just for screening purposes, but it's also used for staging purposes if you are going to have any therapy, whether it be surgical or non-surgical, to your prostate.
So are there any other emerging imaging technologies that you believe will further enhance proactive healthcare for men in the future?
So although it's been around for a while, I think liver imaging is very important nowadays. We've got some very great new techniques on new ultrasound machines where you can actually spot the amount of fibrosis, which is essentially scar tissue within someone's liver, just on a ultrasound machine. So it's non-invasive, and you can then see if a person has got underlying scarring within the actual liver, and you can see if that improves or if it gets worse over time. And also, you can now spot, as I was saying, about how fatty livers are increasing. So that's if your liver has increased fat content, and that obviously causes inflammation. You can now see under ultrasound also to see how much fat is within someone's liver, and you can also see if they respond to treatment. So obviously obesity would be a big cause, diabetes. And I think just a simple one-stop shop with an ultrasound, seeing what your liver fibrosis or scarring looks like, or what your liver fat content looks like, is a very good start in your health journey.
And then also, how can imaging also help in proactive management of cardiovascular risks in men?
So that's also, so the cardiovascular risk, so without having to have traditionally you would have a stress ECG, so you'd have an ECG and then they would stress your heart to see if there are changes. But increasingly, we see a lot of men who can't have stress ECGs, or the stress ECGs are equivocal. So they're not positive and they're not negative. You don't quite know what to do. So increasingly what we can do is just routine screening-wise is do a coronary calcium score, where we look at the calcium that forms around your heart vessels, and using that you can get a good predictor of what your risk profile is from a cardiovascular point of view. Also, you can give dye if you'd like to, and then do an angiogram on the CT without having to have an invasive angiogram where they put a small tube into your major vessels. And that's also very informative as to telling patients the amount of heart disease that they have.
And then lastly, how does, Morton and Partners Riverland ensure a comfortable, accessible experience for men undergoing diagnostic imaging, especially for, sensitive experiences?
Well, we always try and be as patient-centric as we can, whether it's all of our patients, men or women. And every care is taken regarding privacy, regarding POPI Act, and also regarding patients' comforts before and after the procedure. Because often the procedure doesn't just end after it's done. You may have some unusual feelings after whatever procedure you have, and I think that we offer a great service around the clock to patients who have issues before and after their procedure.
That is Dr. Paul Schultz talking to us. And for more information, maybe someone would just like to investigate further off air.
Yes, sure. You're welcome to just go to our website. It's www.morton.co.za, and all of our details are on the website.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Paul Schultz from Morton and Partners Riverlands. Thank you, and have yourself a good one, and bye-bye for now.
Thank you.
It's time for news. It's 2:30.
Thank you, Bertha. On the news headlines, Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe says South Africa should not be bullied into trading its critical minerals based on unfavorable terms and conditions. Action SA has launched the Tshwane Mayor's Performance Tracker to monitor service delivery in the city of Tshwane. Action SA is in a multi-party coalition, and its councillor Nasipi Moya is the city's executive mayor. And police in Angola say 4 people have been killed and 500 have been arrested after demonstrations in the capital, Luanda. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello friends, and welcome to today's tasty edition of Kids Corner. It's a Tuesday. Today we're talking about something that's fun, important, and full of flavor. Your lunchbox. What's your favorite thing to find in your lunchbox? Do you help pack it yourself, or does someone do it for you? If you could choose, what would you put in your lunchbox every day and why? Let's also think about why it's important to have a healthy lunchbox at school. How does it help you learn and feel good during the day? And when you don't bring a lunchbox, what do you usually buy at school? Is there something you've always wanted to try in your lunchbox that you've never had before? Well, let's hear from some of our friends while you share your answers with someone next to you.
Hi, my name is Danica Wood. My favorite thing to find in my lunchbox would probably be either fruit or something sweet like a chocolate or a pack of gummies. I don't help pack my own lunchbox, only sometimes, because I usually don't wake up early enough and I'm always in a rush in the mornings. If I could choose, I would probably put Nutella in my lunchbox every morning, or some grapes, because I love grapes. I think it's important to have a healthy lunch at school to keep your energy throughout the day, and so that you can stay focused during class and you can be attentive and just have a healthy diet. When I don't take my lunchbox to school, I usually eat from my friends, or I'll buy a chip roll or some stylos, because I love stylos and the chip rolls that they make at the tuck shop. Something I wish I could try in my lunchbox is those American foods from the movies, like with the pizzas and the little cupcake with the fruit on the side. I feel like that would be very nice. Thank you.
Good day, my name and surname is Ferguson Pembe. I am 11 years old. My favorite thing to find in my lunchbox is a banana because it's a nice sweet snack and gives me energy for the day. Yes, I do help pack my own lunchbox. I like to pick out what in it goes because I want to make sure I have things I really enjoy. If I could choose, I would put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, some carrots and hummus, and a cookie for dessert every day. Those are my favorite foods. I think it's important to have a healthy lunch because it helps me concentrate better in class and gives me the energy I need to play during break. Healthy foods keep me feeling good. When I don't take my lunchbox, I usually buy a cheese pizza or a salad depending on what looks good that day. It's nice to have options, but I still prefer my own lunch. I would love to try having some sushi in my lunchbox. I've never had it before, but I think it looks fun and delicious. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yolanda Mzobe. I am 11 years old. My favorite thing to find in my lunchbox is a yogurt. Yes, I do help pack my own lunchbox. If I could choose what to pack in my lunchbox every day, I would choose bread, lettuce, bologna, and mayonnaise, and a yogurt. I think it's important to have a healthy lunch at school because if you have a unhealthy lunch at school, you might get sick, which is not alright. When I don't take my lunchbox to school, I buy a pie because it's a bit healthy. There is nothing I wish to try in my lunchbox that I never had before because when I ask my mom to buy me something I wanna carry to school, she does buy for me. That's why I love my mom. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lorraine. My favorite thing to find in my lunchbox is a burger and chips. I pack my own lunch because I'm old enough to, and I feel like no one else has to pack it for me. If I could, I would put chocolate in it every day because it's delicious, but it's also unhealthy. Why I think it's an important thing to pack a healthy lunch is so that I have energy to continue learning, to play, to talk in class, and most importantly, to not fall asleep in class. Sometimes when I don't pack my lunch, I buy some pizza and some energy from the tuck shop. I'd love to have sushi in my lunchbox someday. I just want to try it. Thank you so much for listening to me and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Good day, everyone. My name is Zamangoza Mayana, and today I will be talking about school lunch. My favorite thing to find in my lunchbox is definitely a cheese sandwich. It's so tasty and it always lightens my mood. Sometimes I help pack my lunchbox, but just a bit because I don't have that much time on my hands. So most of the time my dad makes my lunch. If I could choose what I could put in my lunchbox every day, I would choose a chicken mayo sandwich with maybe some fruits like grapes, an apple, or even a tasty treat like a chocolate biscuit. I think it's really important to have a healthy lunchbox because it gives me energy and the ability to focus and learn during the day. Having good lunch helps me feel strong, happy, and ready to take on the day. Thank you for listening. Bye. See you next time.
Hello, my name is Ndamara Renem Tangwi and I'm 11 years old. My favorite thing to find in my lunchbox is a cheese sandwich or some fruit. Sometimes I help pack my own lunchbox. If I could choose, I would put an apple and chips in it every day because I really like them. I think it's important to have a healthy lunch so I can have energy to learn and play.
Hello everyone, my name is Buru Tanglu and I go to Macaulay House School. My favorite thing to find in my lunch bag is a cool box of juice. especially when I'm thirsty, or a packet of really good chips. But overall, I do like opening my lunch bag and seeing the yummy goods I've got for the day. Yes, I do help pack my own lunch bag. If I could choose, I'd put Woolworths mini healthy food packets or McDonald's into my lunch bag. McDonald's, not every day though. I think it's important to have a healthy lunch at school because this kind of food fills you up, but not extremely. It more so gives you energy for the rest of the school day. When I don't take lunch to school, I buy either a wrap or kota from our school tuck shop. I don't wish to try anything in my lunch bag that I've never had before. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Arham Ahmed and I am 11 years old. Now that the holidays are over, I feel little nervous, but also happy to see my friends. I want to do better in third term by doing all my homework on time. I try to study a little every day so I don't forget things. If I don't understand something in class, I ask my teacher or to talk to a friend.
Thank you, friends. It's always great to hear from you. Everyone has a favorite thing they'd love to find in their lunchbox. Maybe it's a juicy fruit, a cheese sandwich, a boiled egg, some crunchy carrot sticks, or even a surprise treat like a small piece of cake. Some children help pack their own lunchboxes in the morning or a night before, while others enjoy the surprise of opening it at school to see what's inside. If you could choose your lunchbox every day, you might pick your favorite snack or meals. Maybe chicken strips, yogurt, apples, or even leftovers from dinner. Choosing what goes in your lunch can help you feel excited about eating and give you something to look forward to during break time. Having a healthy lunch at school is very important. It gives your body the fuel it needs to stay focused in class, to think clearly, and to have energy to play and participate in activities. Healthy lunches often include a mix of foods from different groups, like fruits, vegetables, proteins like eggs, chicken, or beans, whole grains like bread or maize, and water or milk instead of sugary drinks. On days when you don't bring a lunchbox to school, you might buy something from the tuck shop or from vendors outside the school gate. Some popular choices are sandwiches, fruit, snacks, chips, or juice. While these can be tasty, it's still important to try to choose healthier options when you can. You might even have something you've always wanted to try in your lunchbox. Maybe a fruit you've never tasted, or a wrap with exciting feelings. Trying new foods is part of learning what you like and what helps your body feel strong and healthy. And remember, preparing your lunch or helping to pack it is also a great way to become more responsible, learn about nutrition, and even help your family save money. So whether you pack it yourself, help someone pack it, make sure your food keeps you smiling, full of energy, and ready to learn. That's it for today, friends. See you next time.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives. The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
So 4 people, 4 men arrested. That is significant. Tell us more.
You'll recall Amand Swart, who was killed in April 2024. He was killed on the 17th of April 2024. And within 3 hours after his killing, Gauteng organized crime detectives then trace his killers. They find his killers, arrest them, seize the firearms that were in their possession. That include an AK-47 and 3 pistols. We immediately seize those firearms. We take them in for ballistics and so on. During December 2024, a ballistics report comes out and says the same murder weapon that was used in the Amand Swart case was also used in the DJ Somebody case where DJ Somebody and his 2 bodyguards were shot and killed.
Police spokesperson Brigadier Atlanta Martin.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za.
In partnership with SAFM, Hear the Rhythm, Feel the Heat at the Imbaula Music Festival, where music, culture and community come alive. Join us on the 2nd of August 2025 at Pretoria Botanical Gardens, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on to vibe to Sun L musician Kelvin Momo, Amanda Black, Zingumalo, Trompies and more. More than music. Share stories, spark change, unite against gender-based violence. Grab your tickets at imbaula.co.za. Brought to you by SAFM and SABC1. Hear the rhythm, feel the heat, Imbaula.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
And coming up next, let's talk about family affairs. It is family meeting. How is your relationship with your siblings? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you at a 5? Are you at a 7? Are you at a 2? Are you at a -1? Just asking. So it often starts as sibling squabbles and petty competition. Then it escalates. Jealousy creeps in, hatred follows, and before long, it becomes deadly, vile. Siblings can easily harm or destroy each other if parents and elders are not paying close attention. And this is a spiritual encounter that demands urgent family intervention before things spiral out of control. And we thought, you know what, let's unpack this. Let's look at how this occurs. How can elders intervene? How do even siblings get to a point where they are so okay and so prepared to unlife the other sibling? And sharing with us, I do have my guest, Mkulu Nombamba Zulu, founder of KwaNombamba Family Spiritual and Mental Wellness Institute. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Bertha.
It is so unfortunate and so sad, and it happens on a daily basis, where you have siblings that fight relentlessly, endlessly.
Yes. Siblings fight all the time, but in some cases it gets out of control. And, when I'm dealing with people, because I deal with families, in most cases when families come here and we do intlambuluko, have these family conversations and talk about issues that are stumbling blocks. They delay progress in the family and they destroy the family. It's mostly when you listen to people, you realize this thing starts with siblings having petty fights, the little things that are easy to ignore, and kancane it grows and they start competing and parents are not paying attention, and the next thing they start being jealous. Jealousy creeps in when people compete and the other one seems like they are winning and the other one doesn't know what to do. They start being jealous and you think, it's just their sibling squabbles. And the next thing, jealousy will give birth to hate. They start hating each other. They start talking ill about each other, bayatengisana and all that, and the next thing things get out of control. Even death happens in the family simply because of that. Abanye bahambelana inyanga, abanye bathengisana ngaphandle. So many things start happening because of the little things that started while parents were watching, and they ignored it. Some ignore it, some don't know what to do about it. It's simply because we actually don't sit down as parents and observe our children and be able to identify the spirits that reign in the lives of our children. Because we often believe, we never ask ourselves, why? Where does this thing come from? Why is this child like this? We are so quick to dismiss. We are so quick to just turn a blind eye and think things will be okay. Because we always say, I was a cooler, And believe me, the spirit inside this person, if it is not controlled, as cool, they mature into something deadly, something that can cause serious chaos in the family. So many families struggle with this simply because families don't sit down and have conversations about the state of the family. The parents don't encourage their kids to sit down together, because it's parents who are supposed to start this program. Say, I guess, on a dinner table, have dinner together, have lunch together, and have conversations. You know, how are you? You know, that project you're working on, how is it going? How is it going? In front of everybody, so they can all have those conversations, so that you are able to pick up if there's problems. Because sometimes, as a parent, you're at work all the time, you're not seeing your children enough. But at least one day a week, if you can sit with your children, have a Sunday a lunch or a Sunday dinner or a Saturday lunch, bride together, and have conversations. Don't have that dinner that involves alcohol all the time. Have that dinner, a sober one, where you can talk and not rush to do anything, and sit for 2 hours, 3 hours, just talking about yourselves and your family, so that you get to even pick up things early. You know, because most parents, they only wake up when there's serious problems. The other one is already arrested, or the other one has already done something very big that has already destroyed. They don't even visit each other, you know. So it is the responsibility of parents to make sure that there is a sit down with their children. Not only when they have grown up. No, as they are growing up, you need to they must get used to that. But the parents must call that family meeting. And according to me, it must happen every week. Okay. You don't wait until it's Christmas.
I've got one here from Anonymous. This is quite a long one. So Anonymous says, please ask your guest for me, how do we salvage? I've got a situation. We are a family of 7, 6 girls, 1 boy. Our parents have passed on, and my parents left everything to my brother and his wife. And when they were alive, my brother never paid attention, and when they were struggling, he never really played a part, and us as the girls played a part. But when my parents both died, they left everything to my brother. Now the situation is, my other siblings, the other girls, feel betrayed by my parents, and they really have a problem with our brother. And I am okay. And I don't really care about the inheritance, because I have my own wealth. How do I salvage this situation?
Yes. Look, it happens in all the families. People think they are fighting for Amafa, you know, the inheritance and all that. In most cases, it's not necessarily that. The people fight because parents did not have these family meetings where they explain things to their children. There is a reason why parents would leave the brother with everything, because they are supposed to take care of the family and take care of everybody for that matter. And also, bakhulisa igama le family, right? So in African culture, yes.
Sorry to interject there, just hold the thought right there. I just need to play the adverts, and then you can continue with your trail of thoughts.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195, and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
SA Sport Awards reflect our collective nation-building spirit. Mzansi's sport heroes and heroines have shown resilience, persistence, passion, discipline, and world-class achievements in the sports fraternity. Nominees will be announced in August. Let us celebrate #IsInJustAGame. Catch the 18th Annual SA Sport Awards on Sunday, 24 August at 7:30 p.m. on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4, then on SABC 1 at 8 p.m. Brought to you by the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture in partnership with SASCOG and SABC Sport. Celebrating sporting excellence.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
So 4 people, 4 men arrested. That is significant. Tell us more.
You'll recall Amand Swart, who was killed in April 2024. He was killed on the 17th of April 2024. And within 3 hours after his killing, Gauteng organized crime detectives then trace his killers. They find his killers, arrest them, seize the firearms that were in their possession. That include an AK-47 and 3 pistols. We immediately seize those firearms. We take them in for ballistics and so on. During December 2024, a ballistics report comes out and says the same murder weapon that was used in the Amand Swart case was also used in the DJ Somebody case, where DJ Somebody and his 2 bodyguards were shot and killed.
Police spokesperson Brigadier Atlanta Martin.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za.
SABC Sport brings you Chasing the Sun, a powerful 5-part documentary series about the Springboks, telling the rousing tale of their path to redemption and ultimate World Cup glory in 2019. Started 13 July at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Tune in every Sunday for the highs, the heartache and the heroics that made rugby history. Stream each chapter on SABC Plus anytime, anywhere. No subscription needed. Don't miss Chasing the Sun this Sunday, 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Be there when history shines.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
And on the line, I have Mkulu Nombamba Zulu, founder of Kwanombamba Family Spiritual and Mental Wellness Institute, and it is a family meeting. How is your relationship with your siblings? Mkulu, I did interject. Maybe if you could pick up where we left off just before we took a break.
Yes. So I was saying to you, sometimes we are dictated to by our African culture, where parents leave things to the brother. For many reasons, for purposes of Isbongo, the family name and all that. So many parents make decisions, whether wrong or right decisions. But if you do not communicate them properly to your children, then of course you will have these surprises or you'll have this conflict. Because, if children are not explained to and they don't know why you did that, of course it will cause problems. So the sibling that has just written to you now, my advice to them is that you need to start these family meetings, these family gatherings, where you sit together. Don't start with problems. Start with you guys as a family and how you're doing. So you get used to having these lunches, because now maybe some of them live in their own space and all that. You may not be able to do it every week, but at least once a month, once in 3 months, let's meet and have a conversation together about the state of the family until we get to where people are able to say, I'm actually not happy with 1, 2, 3. And you start talking about it, because you sometimes you hate each other without talking, because if you're not talking, it means nobody explains anything, so it continues, the problem continues. But if you see it and we call it inhlambuluko in African culture, that abantwana bomuntu bayahlambulukelana. We have this conversation so that we bring clarity to the table, so that as siblings we begin to understand each other differently. Because in most cases, it's assumptions. It's just assumptions.
Yes.
And believe me, we keep assuming and we hate each other as siblings, not because we don't love each other. We hate each other because we're assuming that the next sibling is doing something wrong to you, or the next sibling is doing something I agree with, without having these conversations. It's not easy to just say, let's have a conversation. The parents must.
Yes. Sorry there. I jumped in.
Yes.
I've got quite a number of voice notes. I think let me just play them back to back so that you can then respond.
Yes.
Yeah, Bertha, your guest just hit the nail on the head, because that's what we are going through at this current moment. And as they always say, that there's this expression, I don't like it, but then there's this expression that there's always a black sheep in the family. And sometimes blackness is like the color black, not the race, but the color black is always, associated with darkness, dark spirits, which is something that I personally suspect, not my other siblings, because right now we are experiencing a dark cloud in the family, and which is caused by someone who's envious, who's jealous, who's full of hate. And I think, I don't know, perhaps maybe to a certain extent, has a mental issue, which is something that it's just that the things that she's been doing currently, they just don't make sense to an extent that the authorities now are involved. There is protection order from left to right. It's scary. Actually, it frightens me because I feel bad.
Hey, SAFM. Mine is kind of tricky, but I think I know what's going on in a way, because mina with my sister, asikhulumisani, sahlala nje singakhulumisani years, but if ngaya eFaraday, ngithole some herbs, ngiphalaze, ngigeze, my sister always uyangifonela. No, I was just checking how you're doing. I've actually realized that this happens, So I don't know whether kunesichitho between me and my sister or what. Thanks, it's anonymous here.
Sure, that is quite something else. Let me give it to you, Mkulu.
Yes. Nami ngiyasifuna leso siphalaza. Yeah. Look, just starting with the second anonymous, I call it a spiritual encounter. I call these things spiritual encounters. So you sometimes you think, if it did not start with your parents, bringing you guys together, it will be difficult, mabanga seko, when they are not there for you to start this conversation. But you always start somewhere. So the one who says, I'm not speaking with my sister, and sometimes it's for a long time, but I end up having to find something that I use, and then the next thing she calls me. I don't think it's that. You are dealing with spirits. When you are dealing with two individuals, you are dealing with two different spirits. One day, Bertha, we will talk about the difference between the spiritual character and you. Because the spiritual character is the person living in you, is the person who reincarnated into you. And that person sometimes drives the things that you do. They drive your thoughts, your actions, and everything. They take over. And sometimes abantu, they will say you are bipolar because sometimes you are this, sometimes you are that. They don't understand you. It's because there's a battle between you, the living you, and the vessel, and the spirit that is in you. And I call it the character, and you only depend on personalities because you knowledge, you learn about things, you watch the things happening, and you live with people, and you're depending on that.
Yes.
But the spirit in you wants to do certain things that are different. So the two people, the two sisters.
I think we're going to have to leave it at this point, and I think our next conversation, I'm going to leave it with my producers. We can always pick up. For more information, where do we go? Very quickly, I've got literally 5 seconds.
Yes, you can call me on 065 601 7055.
Thank you so much. Mkulu Nombamba Zulu, founder of KwaNombamba Family Spiritual and Mental Wellness Institute. I know I've just eaten 1 minute. It's been great. Thanks to my technical producer and my producers. Ashraf Gada with the National Pulse is up next. Thank you, Bertha and the team on the top stories. Mandashe slams critics over BRICS partnership, and 4 killed and hundreds arrested in Angola's fuel hike protest. For SAFM News, I am Onda Lambana, and a very good afternoon. Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister Gwede Mandashe says South Africa should not be bullied